I feel like I could do just about anything.
Here ends Season 1 of Lab Hero. My goal with these interviews has been to try and approach game development from a slightly different direction to show that the people behind your games are just people. People with talent, with flaws, with drive and dedication, and who suffer setbacks. Their stories show that anyone can walk the path of creation so long as they steady their resolve and always persevere. They can, and you can. Thank you for watching this series thus far. If you have any feedback or suggestions, please let me know in the comments below, and I just might incorporate it into the next season. I'll leave you with some content that was cut from my interview with John. We did kind of ramble a bit, but it was always fun, so maybe there's something there for you. Stay safe, be confident, and I'll see you again soon.
Pokemon itself was already pushing the limits of a Game Boy cartridge size because it's just so full of art and acid. I remember like one of the interviews, they were talking about how they could have chosen to either have 3 save slots or naming every Pokemon. In the end, they're like, no, we want you to name every Pokemon. And imagine how different of a world it would be if you could not name your Pokemon, but you could have 3 different save files.
Oh my god, the one save file thing was huge. Because the thing is, I've only had one. That's not true. I've had 2 Pokemon games. One was Stadium, and it bridged, the game because But I had Red, and I'll be damned, I caught all 151.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going to let anybody beat me. I had 6 Mewtwo's. Fuck you.
It worked in its favor, because one copy, it was your game. Like that was it.
That was all you had.
Yeah, and you had if you wanted another game to play, you had to buy another one.
Oh my god! Yeah. Imagine all the save scumming and duping that would have happened.
Yeah,
I duped 6 Mewtwo's and I only had 1 save file. That's how desperate I was. If I had multiple save files, I'd have been fucking kids up on the playground. They wouldn't even know how many.
Yeah, the personal connection. And also because you can name every Pokemon, you have intimate connection. You can name your Caterpie like piece of shit or whatever, Pika shit. It's such a different, that one creative decision would have changed either the popularity or like how the world would be now, It's like so interesting.
The whole world would be different.
Yeah, oh man, alternate realities, man. I don't know. But yeah, that's so interesting, those kind of choices like that. I wish more Japanese developers or just general developers in general would have like in-depth interviews where people know about them would go in and they'll like tell these war stories, that stories in the trenches about like the choices they made and how it ended up. But it's like you gotta also cater that. You also have to like find people that know about it, that can ask the right questions to get the answers out of the people too. I mean,
it's tough to kind of do like post-mortem interviews of people when you like just don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
You can't even ask the right questions.
Yeah, I'm grateful that you decided to do these podcasts too, and so everyone can learn about us too.
Well, that in the same way that you talk to the people who play your games and care to engage with them, so that they maybe gain a better understanding of your stuff, like that makes people. It gives people it's not necessary. But in the same way that like a person might want to know about a person who writes a song they really like, they might somebody like they buy OK Computer on day 1 and they're like, yo, this album is amazing. It's like it's 1997 or something, and they're like, wow, this changed my life. Like, why would Tom York write all these songs? Like, how does this band work together? Like, what does this mean? Who are these people?
Yeah,
because it made them feel good and it changed them and they really liked it, and they just. In a sense of understanding why they like something and to gain an understanding of themselves, it helps them to understand the people that made the thing they like.
Yeah, of course. I love reading the Iwata Ask interviews about Nintendo developers and stuff. Like, yeah, it's so cool to learn about people that you care, that made the things you so deeply care about. Although sometimes it's heartbreaking where you find out like something that you thought about, like, you know, that you've been dwelling over, like, why did they choose this? Why did they make Samus a girl? Like, why did they do this? And then you find out in the end, oh, it was just like one off. It was just some idea. Someone just threw it out there.
At the very end of the game, we were like, wouldn't it be cool if? And they were like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, it's like, oh, really? There was no thought behind it? No.
There wasn't like, it wasn't a thing. It wasn't a statement. He was like, no, we just thought it'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, when you learn about that, it's like, oh, that's heartbreaking. But at the same time, now you know, and it created a legacy, so it's fine. But it's like,
Right.
man.
But man, I remember getting Nintendo Power, and I saw the Samus Aran of those comics.
Mm-hmm. Crazy buff bounty hunter lady.
She was like, she was like 6'1", 6'2".
She's Amazon, yeah.
She was like Amazon, and that's how I remember Samus Aran. Sexy, skinny Samus Aran. That's it's an imposter to me. Like, I grew up with Samus Aran, and I played the first one.
Yeah.
I loved the second one. I played it on my Game Boy.
Yeah.
And then I got Super Metroid, one of the best games ever made.
Yeah.
That's how I remember her. Super Metroid Samus. She was big. She was a strong person. Somebody that made sense doing that. And then you throw her in a skin-tight sex suit, and it was just...
And then
that broke my heart.
Yeah, and she can't use her own weapons because she has to ask for permission and stuff.
Yeah, she asked for permission from her dad, basically.
Yeah, heartbreaking.
That was like, I didn't ever play that game because I didn't have a Wii.
Mm.
But like, I was shocked. Like, that to me was one of those things that like Nintendo made a pivotal character in gaming, and they don't even. To me, that character just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
you make a new Metroid. I don't even know how you can call it a Metroid game.
It's like
when it has like this character that has nothing to do with the Metroid that I fell in love with.
Yeah, that Metroid in particular, it's the problem of like where the original creator was divorced from how it was presented in America. So like the American, like the way they presented it, you know, as the lonely bounty hunter Amazon lady, like that's how we presented it. But in Japan, they never had that. So like the original creator, his concept of Samus is totally different. That's what it is now. It's like there's no bridging that gap now. Like, because if you told him like, oh yeah, this is what we've known, this is what the Prime games are all about, this is the Samus we know, he'd be like, that's not Samus. What are you talking about?
No, and that's the thing is that the Prime series was really good.
Yeah, that was the Americans making their American interpretation of like, this is the Metroid that we know. Yeah,
and that's the other weird thing is that until Prime, it's not like anybody in Japan was jumping at the chance to make more Metroid games.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So in a sense, you almost feel like a little indignant, like you guys weren't fucking and do anything with it. So like we did it, and we did it the way we remembered it, and I don't know. And now it comes back. It feels bizarre. It feels otherworldly to watch like Samus that I grew up with, and then was continued on it. In essence, you don't see Samus much in Prime, but I mean, even at the beginning of Prime 1, you see her, and she's a blonde chick, like she always was, but she looks tall and shit. Like,
yeah.
Man, and for me, it's always the same too. I even in Final Fantasy VI, like it's funny. I'll call them by what they were in the Japanese numbering system, but I won't call the characters the Japanese names. I'm not gonna call Sabin Mash.
Oh, dude, I don't know the Japanese name, so that's really weird to me. Yeah,
and shit. Like Sabin is Sabin to me. He suplexed a train. He was basically a blonde American bodybuilder.
He's Guile.
He's Guile, except with a sense of humor.
Oh shit.
He's really Beowulf.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And that's why I always love Sabin, because he's cool and he doesn't give a shit. Okay, he jumps off of waterfalls. He jumps off of waterfalls, fights like 50 fish on the way down, survives. He jumps in a river after a fish. He suplexes a train.
Man, I hated Sabin because I could not figure out how to do his
arts.
blitz.
Yeah,
I was like, do I press it after the beep? Do I do it like now? Do I do it later? Like, when do you fucking want it? The boss fight where you have to do it once to beat the final boss? Yes. I was stuck in that for like 2 hours. I was like, I never figured it out. I just never used them after that because I was like, fuck, this is too much. I don't know how to do this. I did it completely by accident.
Man, but like that. Oh man, I'm thinking about 6. How much I like 6, man. Man, because it was like in 6, I have all these characters who I really like, and I feel like pretty much from 6 onward, they've just been doing the characters from 6, but like way over the top now.
I mean, yeah, it's a problem with once your game gets too big, you just gotta keep I mean, also the creative minds behind it are gone. You know, like
yeah, all the people that made those games, the only one left is maybe I guess the composer. He like consults now. You know, Uematsu, he like shows up to like make the theme song now or some shit.
yeah, they just hire him. He's an external contractor pretty much. Same with like the artist. They just hire him to draw a couple like illustrations. That's it.
Right. No, that's the thing is that in 6, one of the things that really made it interesting, even though they did change a few things, is in 6 they had the portraits,
Yeah,
the digital portraits as drawn by Amano
yeah.
in the game. That never
Yeah.
happened from that point
You
on.
can imagine, you see
Amano
that.
is great.
Yeah,
He's amazing. When I saw those characters, like, and when I see that art and from like the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 art, like that's how I want a game. I want a Final Fantasy that just looks like his concept imagery,
yeah, it'd be so
like
beautiful.
painterly and like kind of chalk drawings and stuff. Like those characters look so goddamn cool. And then for me, that was the real thing that really killed me. Is that I got to 7, and now everybody has like leather and belts and shit. And like, I mean, first of all, I was like 14 to 15 when I played the game, so like I was like, oh, it's the coolest thing ever. But like,
Yeah,
it
looking back now.
wasn't timeless. It wasn't classy. It wasn't really cool. It was just like, you know,
right.
teenager cool. And
I mean, but
so yeah, when I look back, even if you look back at like the concept art of Cloud, like that to me looks way better than the anime Cloud that I see in the modern interpretations of him, because it was like I don't know, the way Amano draws all his characters is kind of like sullen and almost like sad expressions. I just like that made way more sense, especially for the character arc Cloud went through, as opposed to like this spiky haired kid. It didn't mesh for me.
yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, like the success of it made it like it locked him down that dark path of Nomura forever.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like he can't. There's no way to get out of that.
He's the one that goes, I think we should all do black leather. It's like, but we have the whole designs. They're all wearing
Yeah.
color. It's like, no, I'm really into leather right now. I'm
No,
really
it's
into
just,
like,
you gotta understand. I'm a big leather guy, and so
yeah. Because like the one success was under his name. Like now he dictates it forever, and that's why we're in the state we are in now.
See, let's go to 10. The
Okay.
10 was the beginning of the end for me. It's the same thing. Is I feel like Final Fantasy games really just say, you know, you're Sabin 2, you're Edgar 2, you're, you know, you're Moogle 2.
Man, no, Mughals are forever. The
The
originals
Moogles
are
are
always
eternal.
Yes. But yeah, I
And,
know.
yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's weird because like with Final Fantasy X, it's like they wanted to go a different direction, but then they had the conceits of like, no, we still got to make it a Final Fantasy game. That's why they had included these extra characters. It's why it has a few diverse cast. I mean, I fucking love the battle system. Like the battle system's the greatest. But you know, it seems like they want to tell a more emotional love story, and they could have done that. It just wouldn't be Final Fantasy anymore then. Like they're trapped by what the name Final Fantasy meant in exchange for what the story they wanted to tell was. Like they're not.
Well,
working hand in hand.
they got pretty lovey-dovey in 8 and 9. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah, I guess so.
8 was sickeningly sweet at times.
Yeah, they really played it up.
I mean, the whole like reuniting in fucking space scene, and then the theme music comes on, and of course I'm like 16, so I'm definitely feeling this shit. Like, someday I'll find my Renoa. But like now you look back and it's like, maybe it's not the best story ever. Like 9 was still pretty good. 9 holds up for me.
I didn't play much of 9. I liked it, but I wasn't into it.
It's kind of a hard game to like
Really?
because it plays kind of slowly.
Like, when did it pick up for you? When did you like fall in love with it?
Halfway through.
Okay, I
I think-
played through it at the end of Disc 1. That's as far as I got.
The thing is, it kind of it's very mundane for the first act, and then it picks
Yeah.
up in the second act, because again, it's like this. It basically goes back to like Final Fantasy 1 style of like high fantasy, which was interesting to me, and it appealed to me.
Yeah,
But like it's kind of boring. And so
Yeah.
until it made the turn to where all the characters are introduced and you start getting outside the European fantasy zone and moving on to other things, it was like then it became more interesting as you became more invested in the characters. But it still had this big problem. Like I still like I'll watch a love story. It just needs to be. It needs to appeal to me.
Yeah, like the problem is like, what's the story you're trying to tell, right? Like every Final Fantasy, it's about some like huge cataclysmic event, like the end of the world caused by either.
I really do hate that. And 12, honestly, is one of my favorites, but it was ruined at the very end by like the bad guy being like the evil personification of evilness. Like, you didn't need to do that. It was a political thriller the whole time, and you had to throw in this bullshit at the end. Like, it really upset me.
It's just a way of raising the stakes, and also probably tradition. Like they probably said, no, you can't not have a god destroy the world at the end. Like you gotta, huh?
Right. No, that's the thing. It's like, it's just, but in 9, the reason I liked 9 so much wasn't the romance. It was one of the problems that Final Fantasies always have is they don't tell adult male stories. And me being an adult male, it's hard for me to feel invested in a story that I could not see myself in or doing, right?
Right.
And I don't mean like I need it to do literally what I would do. It just needs to hinge on the emotional parts of being an adult male.
Right. You can't relate to an emotional teen anymore.
One of the things about being an adult male is relating to other men.
Mm-hmm.
It's a difficult and cantankerous process. You have to deal with the aggression of being yourself, interact with other people, and friendly, and the fact that the closest people you'll ever have essentially are men because they are the only ones who you can properly commiserate with. But in that story, it wasn't about Zidane and Garnet. I mean, that was the love story that I think it had to tell coming from 8 and being a Final Fantasy. But what it really was about was his brother.
Right. The moon people.
Right. And the thing is, his brother had that. He had the most believable male bad guy storyline to me of all. Because the thing is, 6, even though I like Kefka, he's essentially just like, I am the most evil person that could ever live ever.
Right, he's very one-sided.
He's very one-dimensional. And I thought that worked because insane evil people often are fairly one-dimensional. Like, I mean, they don't get much more complex than I have an urge to kill. Why? I'm just going to do it. But the thing is, you get into 7, and I hated Sephiroth. Actually, I loved Sephiroth when I saw him because what 14-year-old boy wouldn't think that was the sweetest thing ever? But I hate Sephiroth because it didn't make any sense. I couldn't imagine myself being mad at the things he was mad about. It was like he wasn't a man. He was just an idea of like vague anger. And I couldn't see it. I really didn't even understand what the fuck he was doing that whole game. Like, I really didn't understand why we were fighting. And then you get to 8, and I understand Seifer's being, because he's essentially just a teenage boy, so you can identify with that at least.
Yeah.
But still, you're fighting against this idea of evil, because she wants to do time compression, which is scary, but it's not even like a woman problem or a man problem. It's just like I'm so evil, I will compress all of time into one singularity.
Too lofty.
Yeah, it's so big.
Can't relate.
But the thing is, you get to 9, and the reason he's doing any of that is because he was abandoned by his father, and he doesn't have any family, and he doesn't have anyone to teach him how to be a human being, and he's just lashing out because he didn't have anybody to raise him. He had a goal and he had a thing, and then the people that loved him didn't love him enough or didn't give him that. And in the end, Zidane is still, as his brother, as a man to man, as a family member, is still willing to say that he loves him and he forgives him and he understands why he did it. And I just thought that was extremely real for the science fiction fantasy setting they were in. I thought that was an incredibly real sentiment, because there are things you do where you have to be a father or a brother or a husband or a lover, and you have to turn to somebody and say, I love you and I forgive you. You tried to hurt me, or you did hurt me, and I still forgive you because that's what I want to do, and I understand how you could have felt that way. That was really personal.
It's interesting. Like, if they reframe the story around that was the plot that they wanted to tell, it'd be such a different story. It'd be way clearer, better, like less filler and less.
Yeah, there would be less filler, and that's the thing. There was a lot of filler in that game with regards to the story. It kind of chugged along as the threat of the world was what motivated you, as it would in a world-expanding quest. But the idea that they were related should have been introduced much earlier.
Yeah.
That's what would have changed the story. Because the thing is, they made it about Garnet more because she's in your party. But just like, I mean, one of the things that made 12 so good for me was that the people in your party used to be your enemy. Because both Balthier and Bosch used to be judges.
See, I never played 12, so I don't know much about it. But yeah,
it's interesting. First of all, Balthier is amazing. He's Han Solo.
He's just Han Solo, right? And he has his Chewbacca's really hot.
No, that's the thing. Is like I was like, when I played that game, I was like, yo, I would do exactly the same thing if I could. I don't blame this man for 1 second. You want to have a non-defined relationship with this bunny lady? You do your thing, man. I would jump at the chance.
I'm waiting for the HD version because I do want to play. I'm just waiting for inevitable ports.
I actually wish they'd release like the international version. I heard it like fixed some balance stuff. It was fun.
I'm sure if they do ever do an HD version, it'll be the international. There's no reason not to.
Because first of all, I don't truly identify with female characters because I can't. That's not my genetics. I can only identify with my experience and the things that speak to me. So even if you have a male character, you can't just have a male character doing things that no male would ever do or don't make sense for his experience.
Right.
So Balthier and Bosch coming from, I mean, penance, from in my opinion, is a very male concept. Like, obviously wanting to right wrongs is kind of gender neutral, but the idea of penance, like you did something wrong and you deserve to suffer and you have to make it right. That's a very male, self-imposed guilt.
Sounds religious to me. Sounds like Catholic guilt or something.
Well, I mean, now we're getting into some crazy stuff. I mean, lots of religion is very male-centric concepts. And so, I mean, yeah, the idea of like righteous justice and penance, those are very male motivated extreme concepts based in absolutes. And so the idea that both Bosch and Balthier have to right what they've done wrong, like they not that they want to, they have to do it. I can identify with that. You make mistakes in your life and you don't just feel like you should do them, you feel like you can't move forward until you fix this. And I hated Van so much. God, he's such a fucking waste of space. And so is Pinelo. Those two characters, of course, most people who know the development were added in the late stage of development because you needed Final Fantasy teenagers.
Yeah, you just need a self-insert.
Imagine that story without them. It would have been a story about a bunch of adults.
Yeah, it would have been great.
How could you sell that in Japan? They're wondering. Like
the only problem with Final Fantasy 12 is that it was a Final Fantasy. If it was just any other game directed by Matsuno, it would have been fine. It's such a...
You just reminded me of something, dude.
What's up?
Do you okay, so this, I mean, obviously this happened in old Japanese games. Because I did it from as early as I can remember. But when you play a one-player game and it gives you an option to like customize something in it, like maybe you customize like a room or a house or something.
Right.
One of the things I have done pretty much just for me, but I don't know why I do it, is I will like make things just so.
How so?
Like it's funny, not Japanese at all, but the only concrete example I can give that I think would really illustrate it in one game is Morrowind. So I played Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, and that was kind of a game changer for me. I was like, yo, this game's fucking amazing.
That game, you could look at girls' boobs if you take off your clothes.
It's true. You had to have mods though, which I did.
Oh no, I think of Daggerfall. Daggerfall's a game.
Daggerfall was the boobs game.
Yeah, okay.
Jeez, you and boobs, John. Seriously.
No, that's Brian, man.
I know. Jeez, it's leaking. So I was playing Morrowind, and the thing is, in Morrowind, you can't really, because in Oblivion, it had physics in it. Like you could pick up objects and like lay them, and they would like fall.
Yeah.
But in Morrowind, it would place them, and then it'd be like static.
Yeah.
And so you didn't really even have like rotational controls for how you placed them. You had to like position your guy facing the direction you wanted the sword to be. So I would like, in that game, nobody can come to your shit. Like it's a single player game. But I would, once I had cool shit, I would like And the thing is, you couldn't buy houses either because it was
some random
before
guy's
like
house?
property. So I would like murder the richest guy in town, basically.
This is my house now.
Yeah, this is my house. I would take all his shit out. Fuck all your shit, your baskets and your food.
Throw it out the window.
Throw them out the window. Put them in a crate somewhere in the basement. And I would like take my glass swords and armor and I would like lay them out on display like I was in a museum of awesome shit that I'd done.
Wait, so
I sometimes still like in Skyrim I did it like a little bit. In Oblivion I did not quite as much, but like anytime there's a character creator too, like I will do that. Like in Soul Calibur 5, which I liked. There's a character creator, and it being an Namco game, the character creator is pretty in-depth. You can position things pretty uniquely.
I'm so surprised people can still make such accurate characters in that. It's so ridiculous.
Oh my god, dude. I made Taki from Soul Blade up through Soul Calibur 4. Every variation of her. I never played I didn't ever play her ever. But because I played her like daughter or something in the 5th one, I was like, yeah, I'll just make Taki 1 through 4. But like, I don't even know how many hours I spent moving her under boob armor into just the right position. But like, I'll do that in games. It's funny, like you were saying, like you'd have like your house ready for like people to come over, but like who's coming over? Like
in-game NPCs. Well, like,
right.
Man, wait. So Kai, have you played a game called Animal Crossing?
No, dude, no. And I didn't because I didn't have like the systems it was on at the time.
Yeah.
But I promise you, had I played that game, that's the kind of shit I would have done.
Yeah.
Like, I would have had my tasteful decor in just the right spot for no particular reason.
And then you get mad because apparently in game there's a rating system, but it's all mathematical or something. They give you points based on how you lay stuff out. But in reality, it has its own like bullshit geometry or whatever how it works.
Right. It's like an in-game feng shui that is hyper specific.
Yeah. So you'd be like, no, fuck you, my house is perfect. It's like, what are you talking about?
Oh, Dark Cloud 1.
Uh-huh.
The geo system or whatever where you could like you earned huts inside of the dungeons and I had to go place like the houses and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That game really like I don't know, it kind of like tipped off my hate sense or whatever because it basically was like, hey, build a little village. And I was like, yo, this is the best village, has easy access to all the stores, no water in the way, everything looks good. And they'd be like, no, but that's not how you're supposed to do it. Because like to get the special items, you'd have to like fulfill everyone's bullshit demands about who they wanted to live next to.
Yeah.
So I had to do that, and then I would immediately disassemble everything and put it back the way I wanted. I would like get the sword I wanted and be like, fuck all of y'all. You don't know a damn thing about urban planning.
It's so good in games. You'd be like, imagine if you live there, like, man, I don't really like that guy I'm living next to. Fuck you. There's no water in the way. That door is perfect. You're gonna walk through there and be like, this village is fine. Every day they go, yeah, this village is pretty, but I fucking live next to this asshole.
Right. There is no mayor. There's no elections. This is my town. Every town is my town.
You hate it? Move out.
Exactly. You can't. Exactly, because you sell potions. Stay where you are.
Man, I love like city building stuff like that. Like in Mega Man Legends 1, there's just the barest bone minimal thing like that where you can keep paying money. Like there's a boss fight where the bonds blow up the village, and depending on how well you beat it, you can either like have no damage or have like minimal damage, or maximum damage, whatever. But you can pay money to repair the village. So it's always like, oh man, should I spend money on repairing myself or put into rebuilding this thing that has no purpose in the rest of the game? But
right.
It's satisfying.
It's so weird how you get invested in like the world of a game that only you play.
Yeah.
I've done that with tons of shit. Like it's the same thing that like makes you not spend a potion until the end of the game. Like why? Dude, every Final Fantasy, I will beat the last boss holding on to like 5 mega elixirs.
You see,
how? What the fuck?
It took me a long time to finally break out of that one before I realized, no, I got to use this now, or this game is already balanced around. But yeah, once I learned about game design, then I was finally like, no, the game is balanced, so I can use this as much as I want. They want you to use it. Don't suffer now. Like, it's not meant to be.
Right. Now, there was actually a game that came out recently. It was like the Penny Arcade game or something. It was fine, but one of the things I really liked is that you didn't like earn more items, you earned more item stocks. So at the beginning of every fight, you'd have 5 potions, and then at the beginning next fight, you'd have 5 potions. So you'd feel okay using all your items every fight if you needed to, because it would be instantly restocked next time.
Right.
So the only thing you could ever find, like in a treasure chest, was to increase your stock of potions to 6 or 7 or something.
Pretty cool.
So it was like awesome. It was like the most freeing sensation ever. I didn't have to ever save my buffing potions and healing potions and mana potions, and it was amazing.
I mean, like, you could have learned that earlier, man. Like, Final Fantasy, they give you a bunch of mega elixirs for a reason. You got to use them.
Dude, the first time, what's your favorite Final Fantasy?
I'm going to say 4.
4?
Yeah, 2 in America.
I know which one it is.
Okay.
I'm a Final Fantasy fan, sir. Not anymore, but I was.
Yeah, that's everyone, right? Like, yeah, once the new games came out, no one cares anymore.
Well, 13? It's really hard to get excited about 13, 13.2, 13.3. It's like, none of these people are very interesting. So it's also kind of weird in a lot of ways. Like, it just, Final Fantasy for me lived in the 16 and 32-bit era. And it's one of those games that really, for me, suffers in that uncanny valley of making it more realistic. Like, every time you take these things where people are like fighting with swords and guns and magic and everyone is dressed like a model in Shinjuku, is like, it's it starts to get like a little too much when everyone starts to look real.
Yeah.
It starts to hit that place where you're like, I can't even for a second believe any of this would happen. You know, like, that's what 13 was like. When I got to 12, it was a high fantasy. It was set in Ivalice. And then you get to 13, and it's like, I can't go along with this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, why doesn't everyone have guns? Is kind of what I say to myself about every single facet of that kind of story. It's like, okay, if you have guns, why does anybody have a sword? Well, it's a sword gun. Well, that's not a real thing, and you're starting to wear out your ability to make up fake shit. Like, you know, like, I can only go so far with you on this journey of fantastical imagination before it's just like, eh.
Well, you know, maybe guns only work in long distances. When you're in short range, a gun isn't as effective in this fictional world. You got to use a sword.
And that's the thing, is like, when everyone has 4 polygons in their face, a guy getting shot in the face is like less impactful.
Yeah.
Once
you have photorealistic models.
When you got photorealistic models and he's getting blasted in the face with a shotgun that fires like flaming shotgun pellets,
and then it says miss on top of it.
Miss, exactly. Like,
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about old games, is that there's a layer of abstraction that your mind has to fill in. So you're actually volunteering more imagination into it, which makes it more appealing to you.
Oh my God, Jonathan, thank you. I really love that. That's why 6 is my favorite. Is because even though 6 started to be the one, it was the highest, fidelity 16-bit Final Fantasy. The writing for me is what I did a lot of filling in on. Like, I even wrote like a novelization of the game that I pitched at Squaresoft.
Oh wow!
Or, I'm sorry, Square Enix at the time. But I mean, but that's the thing, is like, there was so much about it that was implied because there was only so many characters they could devote to text.
Yeah.
And so these things about like, who is this and what's happening and what's the actual relationship, you kind of had to fill in with your head. Like, there's a very specific scene it's kind of dark, but they don't really ever pause on it. It's how familiar are you with 6?
I've played the beginning and the end. I've somehow missed the middle.
Okay. Well, there's a scene where after everybody splits up, you play as Locke and you find Celeste for the first time.
Right.
And she's all tied up and had the shit kicked out of her and tortured basically by Kefka and soldiers or whatever.
Right.
Now, in a very Game of Thrones kind of way, where you try to make a fairly realistic medieval world, you can only imagine the horrors a woman being tortured would have to endure. But the thing is, they don't even really leave that implied. They make sure she has no equipment on when you find her. And that doesn't happen with anybody else. And it was that kind of thing that made me really. It was a very interesting exercise, how much information that it can impart with the tools they had, and how much you also then had to fill in yourself so that the story was, now when stories are presented to you, they're not really unique to you.
Yeah.
But back in that time, like a story would be unique to you based on how you as a kid were kind of filling in those blanks. And so,
yeah, it's cool. Like back then, they had expressed an idea as much as possible through gameplay alone. So it's like a narrative with gameplay rather than narrative expressly like told to you or shown to you just like visually. Like your example, yeah. Like, I mean, you could still do that now. Just games don't really need to. They don't bother trying. It's like they're worried that you'll get confused.
right. There's over explaining now that it's funny. And that's the thing is, I'm not even necessarily of the opinion that they wouldn't have over explained it had they had the ability,
Yeah,
but they
would.
didn't have the ability.
Yeah.
So it was better through the less information. Like that's why I kind of love the older Final Fantasies, because you filled in the best possible version of some of those details.
Yeah,
when you get to 10, Final Fantasy 10, and you have that scene where they're sitting on the cliff and they do the infamous laughing scene.
Ha ha ha
Ha ha ha! Like that is so fucking terrible. But that scene wouldn't be even half as bad if there were no voices.
Oh, true.
And that's the thing, is like, it's weird that by giving them more, you made it worse. Like,
yeah, that was like a 16-bit RPG. It just said like, the sprite walks up to the cliff and goes,
just cliff and does the laughing animation.
Yeah,
that
and
happens
then
a ton in
dash
4, 5, and 6.
and Chrono Trigger and stuff too. Yeah,
Right.
And be like,
They
oh,
even
yeah,
give Kefka a laugh. But
And
it's
if you-
not bad because it's like you're like,
fill it
okay,
in,
yeah, he's a scary laugh. He's a scary guy.
yeah. I mean,
But no, not Tidus.
It's a less man. It's so weird too. Like for 10, like because your name is Tidus, but because you can make your own name, no one called you your name. It's like,
That's the thing. People don't remember that.
Yeah.
They never said his fucking name like almost the whole time because it would put the names of whoever you named the things.
And like they weren't that smooth about localizing it. Like for example, like a good example of that is in Persona 4. They think of other ways to address you outside of using your name. So they go like, oh, leader, or like, hey, cool guy, or like like they use a lot of clever ways to get around the fact that they can't say your name. But in 10, they just straight up don't say your name. They just go, what do you think about this, comma? And then there's like a gap. It's like, whoa, I feel an emptiness inside me.
Right.
It's super like,
How do you feel about this main character?
yeah, like if they did that, it would have been nice at least. Like, how do you feel about this leader or something? But no, there's a pregnant pause where you're like, oh, this is so weird. Why don't they just call me? Like in my game, I called myself Tidus, so I was like, they're calling my name. This is so strange.
I mean, I spelled it the same, but I definitely was Titus.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Tidus bothered me when I heard that for the first time. Like I was distraught. I was like, that name is the worst. Titus, Titus, Ocean. Come on. Tidus, what the fuck is happening?
Had no idea. That makes sense. It's like Squall and Cloud, yeah.
Yes!
Water clouds.
Tidus? What?
There you go. All right.
Man.
But yeah, that's it. I mean, it's tough too because in games, it's like less is more, but at the same time, you also have to plan for less then. It's like there's two ways.
When something's supposed to, like in modern games, when they just don't do something, it's clear that it's missing something.
Yeah.
Like where voices should be, or art should be, or animation should be. You're like, it's just not there. Back in the day, everything was planned around the fact they couldn't, so it was better for its omission. But nowadays, when shit is not there, it's rarely planned around. It's mostly a matter of not implementing it.
Yeah, it's like cutting it versus like I mean, yeah, older games, they were just made from building blocks. Like they have so many tools to work with, so they have to be creative and work within those constraints. But nowadays, it's like you can do anything. So now everything is just about cutting and like, what can we afford to do here? How much time can we do this? Rather than like having tools to work with. I mean, that's just how AAA games are nowadays. Rarely will every cutscene has to be like, motion captured or like hand animated or something. Instead, like Japanese RPGs back in the day would have like a set amount of actions that they would do. And so there's mix up like, walk here, do laugh animation here, walk back, and turn around 4 times or something. And that somehow gets across the feeling of like, oh, I'm so happy I'm doing a dance,
Right. No, it's so weird. Like, the kind of people that the people that had to plan out the acting, I guess, in a sense. My son is very insistent. What is it, Kieran? That game is called Smite, and it's only online. You can't get online.
It's not working. Right now.
You want to play with your brothers? Yeah. Well, right now, I believe they are getting ready to go to dinner, so we won't be able to play with them till later. So I need you to maybe turn it off or play a different game.
Oh, man, you're 3 hours in the future, huh? Or 2 hours in the future.
Yeah. So we can play later, but not right now. Your brothers aren't home.
What?
Your brothers aren't home.
What are?
They're getting dinner.
And then they're coming back.
Yes.
Oh. After dinner?
Yes.
And then you can play with me?
Yes.
Okay.
But for right now, why don't you turn it off?
I don't want to.
You don't want to? What do you want to do? Oh, just take a seat. Try a different game, okay?
I like Warframe.
Okay, give it a shot. Jeez.
I like that your son said that. Oh.
What did he say?
He's like, oh, you know, where are my brothers? Oh, you know, they're having dinner. Oh. It's like
yeah, just in the last 2 months or so, he's really started to expand his language to incorporate like sentences and comprehension and reaction to what other people say. Before he would say things, but they would be kind of disjointed, you know, like children might do.
Mhm.
Now he's actually able to say, my brothers are home, I want to play video games, or Dad, I want this for dinner, or, you know, stuff like that. Before it would be like, I want this. Play with brothers, you know, stuff like that. So it wouldn't be too advanced. He was positively stupid, I'd say. He was not very smart, and he doesn't have a job.
You know what? He was just trying to work with like the limited amount of animations he had.
Right.
He was trying to like speak.
He was at Super Nintendo level,
Yeah,
and he didn't have.
yeah.
He's going to level up to CD-ROM based 32-bit systems here shortly, I'm sure. But
Yeah, like pretty soon he'll be at the ha level. Just give it time.
Exactly. He'll be that advanced.
Yes. I feel kind of bad. We didn't really talk about Skullgirls that much. It was mostly
I kind of gloss over Skullgirls unless it had like a specific. Kieran,
What?
go this way.
You press X for me?
No, I can't. It's an online game.
oh, he's a special guest.
I know. Interview with Jonathan Kim featuring Kieran Kennedy.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Super Nintendo games? That's right. You don't know anything. You're dumb. Hey, Kieran, give me a kiss. Please let me finish this, okay?
Okay, and then you help me.
I will help you, but you have to be patient.
Okay. Get all of it. Okay.
I will. I'll be right there. I'm almost done.
Okay. And
5 minutes is probably a good estimate, yes. Okay.
In the 5 minutes. Can you even like? I don't remember. Like, I'm sure we all talk like that when we were little. That's so cute.
I can't even remember. My mom is adamant that I did not speak until I could speak correctly. Like I would just be silent and people thought there was something wrong with me. And then, you know, parents tell the stories in unique ways that are, over the top nowadays. But she maintains that like I one day walked up to her and was like, Mom, I would like this for breakfast. Like, and that was kind of the first sentence she ever heard me say, was just kind of out of the blue. And then I started speaking.
See, maybe it worked out because like you stored up all those extra words all those years, and now like you're using it to your maximum advantage.
All right, a lot of that'll get cut because it's just Kieran dicking around. But
I'd rather be dead.
deadly scene, put together forever. Put together forever. Put together forever. Put together forever.